Now, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, who serves on the Oversight Committee. Congresswoman, I know before you served in Congress, you were in the state legislature. Before that, you were a defense attorney practicing in Texas. As a defense attorney, this seems like a pretty good case to get.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity for someone to make a name for themselves because inevitably, if they are halfway competent, they should be able to win. They should push this thing to the limit. When you were just having your conversation about whether or not the defendant should then start pushing for, say, a speedy trial, which is something that is actually codified on the federal level, and it is actually very quick. Last time I checked, it's 60 days. So, yeah, I would absolutely push forward and say, let's go. And I think they're going to have a harder time trying to figure out who's going to actually prosecute the case than he will have trying to find somebody to defend the case.
We've seen just this week, I mean, we had the FCC threatens Jimmy Kimmel and threatens both the local affiliates and Disney to take him off air. Ultimately, he comes back. The president threatening George Soros today. Reid Hoffman, another individual who's a liberal software rich guy, saying, you know, tossing out their names, signing an executive order, talking about criminal investigations of the funders of, you know, left-wing domestic terrorists. He has been talking about you a lot. He seems sort of somewhat obsessed with you and likes to hurl a lot of insults your way. Like, what do you make of the developments of this week in terms of this regime trying to criminalize dissent?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I want the American people to know that when you stand up to a bully, you win. Do not back down. Do not bend. You allow them to go and wage their threats. If everybody starts to bend, for sure, what is left of our democracy will be gone. And unfortunately, that is exactly what he wants. And even more sadly, is that many of his followers agree with this. And I am thinking to myself, how is it that you can call yourself American or patriotic when you literally don't understand who we are as Americans, when you literally are okay with throwing out the Constitution, when you're okay with someone just deciding, you know what, this is the end result that I'm seeking, and so just figure out how to get there versus doing what you are supposed to do. And I am so appalled at those that took an oath, at those that actually went to law school. Many of us ended up with law school debt. And then we have to take not only the bar exam, but we have an ethics exam that we have to take, because there is supposed to be some level of ethics in what we do when we go into a courtroom. Now you have people that literally either they just don't know the law or they just don't care. But the idea that you would go after someone, and listen, even as Democrats, we had our fair share of issues with James Comey, okay? But that's not a reason to prosecute someone. And so here's the deal. If he decides that he wants to continue down this path, I think that they're going to continue to lose. And I don't see the former FBI director saying that he is going to just go ahead and say enter into a plea deal, or he's just going to take this line down. I think that this is someone who absolutely will fight this to the end.
Yeah, it's a good point. I should note that he has a defense attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald, former U.S. attorney, former special attorney, special counsel. He also successfully prosecuted Rod Blagojevich, other politicians as well. He was the one appointed by George W. Bush as a special counsel during the Scooter Libby investigation. Final thing to you is, like, the Jimmy Kimmel thing broke through in a way that maybe him going after, say, Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, didn't quite. Do you think this breaks through? Is this the kind of thing that people talk about on the grocery store line, in barbershops, et cetera? Be honest. I
don't know. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I don't know. As someone who has traveled this country and talked to people on a very granular level, I think, you know, and I love Jimmy Kimmel. I do. I've done his show twice. But him having the notoriety,
yes, exactly,
and the popularity that he had was very helpful, right?
Yeah.
I do think that there are those of us that are always in the weeds, that we look at what happened to Lisa Cook, who won as well, that we look at the situation as with James Comey. I think that there were those that, you know, even when we talk about Colin Kaepernick, you know, one of the things that I've been trying to make sure that people understand is that Colin Kaepernick, that was our first inkling that this was going to be someone that would use his governmental powers to go after free speech. But we kind of shrugged it off. Either you agreed with what he was talking about or you didn't, and you let it go. And that's not what speech is supposed to be about. It's not whether or not you agree. It's whether or not you are able to do it freely.